Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jing, and for those of you who have not tuned in my channel before, I am the Candid Filipina. Welcome to one and all. And today's topic it's gonna be about the stigma from an older foreigner dating a young Filipina here in the Philippines. And the resentment of your home family as well cause you a lot. And grave that they will cause you about you retiring and coming here to live permanently. Well, so let's begin with your country. So here we go. In your country, it's the norm to date somebody either the same age as yourselves or maybe up to 10 years age gap generally, or maybe up to 10 years age gap really. Obviously, there are exceptions to this, but when you date a young Filipina, I hope you will, and if you take her back to your own country, for example, Europe, America, Russia, you're gonna get a lot of stigma. People will stare at you, people will glance at you and give you the evil eye. Because in your country, it's part of the culture and not to date a woman so young. So let's put up a scenario here. You've worked hard all your life. Maybe your partner has passed away and your children are all grown up and they have now their own lives to lead. They will normally visit you maybe once or twice a month if you're lucky enough. But apart from that, as I said, you've worked all your life. You've achieved all your goals and all your dreams. There is nothing left for you to prove. So you normally enjoy your retirement. For the first 6 months, maybe you'll go on that cruise you always wanted to go on. Maybe you'll go on to a couple of holidays, sightseeing. But after the dust settles, you will realize that you are stuck at home on your own, sat in front of the TV, watching all the dramas or animals documentaries or whatever. But the reality is, you will be on your own in your house. Now, some people will obviously make a hobby for themselves, which good for them, hopefully, and they will be content doing that. But the majority of foreigners, as I said, will be stuck in their house. A lot of their friends have passed over. As I said, a lot of family members will have passed over. So generally, will be on their own. And being on your own can become lonely and sad. And let's be honest, and you can become bewildered and lost, and that can also lead a bit of depression. So you suddenly decided that you were gonna pack your things and of course immigrate to the Philippines. You're gonna start a new life out there where you can relive your dreams. Why not? It's a great idea. But unfortunately, the minute you tell your family or your children who are now grown up and that you are going to move to the Philippines and be with a younger lady there or a younger woman, they will resent that. And they will start saying to you that you're a dirty old man or you're a pervert, what's wrong with you? Why do you need to go out there and be with young girls? It's disgusting, and all these arguments will start off. You will generally not get support from your family straight away. There will be a lot of resentment for two reasons. Why? Because you're leaving them for a life elsewhere. And secondly, the thought of you dating someone the same age as your own children. Discuss them. That's the culture in your country. It's deeply set over hundreds of years, sadly, and people won't be swayed from it easily. And I understand that. I've spoken to many foreigners here that are married to Filipinas. And some of them spend 6 months in the US and 6 months in the Philippines. Well, while they're in the Philippines, people don't pay them any attention at all. No sideways look, no stigma, even if they're dating somebody older than their girlfriend or wife's parents, it's accepted. But in your country, it's not accepted. So, when the foreigner takes his wife back to his country for 6 months again, the sideways glances, the sneers, the dirty looks all kick in, and it's not nice at all. I wouldn't like that. And I'm sure deep down the foreigner doesn't like it. Although he's probably proud that he's 65-year-old man with 30-year-old Filipina. Yes, it's some lovely eye candy to hold on to. But at the same time, he's gonna get a lot of fluff and a lot of steak about it, which is not nice, but he's gonna rise above that and put it down as just ignorance. So on the other side of the coin, why do Filipinas accept older foreigners? Why is that? And generally older than their girlfriend's parents. The reason this is because in the Philippines, we don't have old people's home. And we don't have somewhere that we can cast an old person into forget about them. No, it doesn't happen like that here. For example, I was 10 years old when my grandmother becomes an ill and could no longer look after herself. So it's normally left up to the children to take care of the grandmother or grandfather or old uncle, and they will bathe them, change their diapers, wash them, cut their hairs, cut their nails, do everything that they need to do for them. Feed them with a spoon, shave them. All these things become natural to a Filipina, which is true. Or Filipino, and that's why we have a great reputation as the world's best caregivers. Why not? Because we've been trained at it, and it's because we've done it naturally all our lives. We don't look at the old people with boring to speak to and rub it on and we get bored with them. No, we look up to old people, we respect them, and also we enjoy their knowledge, what they've accomplished over the years, their wisdom, their kindness, and of course their solitude, their gratitude, and their friendliness. And that is why we love spending time with grandmother or grandfather or older relatives. We have tremendous respect for them, even more than our parents sometimes, because they are so very knowledgeable. So that is why in the Philippines, it is normal for a woman to date an older Pinoy. I have many friends that are 26, 27 that are with 58 or 60-year-old Pinoy. Because older Pinoy is more mature. A Pinoy of her own age would be gambling, drinking, womanizing, partying. The Filipina doesn't want that. Or a good Filipina wouldn't want that rather. She is content to have her own family, and bonding with her family. Having a child, maybe, but generally, looking after her partner and waiting on him hand and foot and caring for him with true love and admiration until his last breath. I don't think that is the case in the Western countries. They don't have the respect for the elderly. They cast them to one side. They are the thing that stands in their way. They are bored with them. They just want them to sit in a corner and read a book. And that's not the case here in the Philippines. So that is why when you make the plan to come to the Philippines to live, do not worry. There is no stigma if you were chatting to a 22-year-old girl in the street. Nobody would look at you twice. It's normal, whereas if a man of 65 was chatting to an 18-year-old or 22-year-old in your own country, everybody will stare at him in disgust. It's just because of the culture differences. For example, many Filipinos are disgusted that foreigners can get divorced within a matter of months in their own country because, as you know, in the Philippines, there is no divorce. So, of course, that is a big culture difference there. For an example, so when we see that, Filipinos often say, wow, you know, they haven't worked at the marriage, they haven't tried their best, they haven't resolved things. But that's not the case. A normal person would realize that sometimes two people just could no longer be together, even though they love each other. They can't live together, so they get divorced. But not all Filipinos think that. The mindset is that divorce is far too easy in Western countries and should be worked at. So there's an example of a culture difference. So yes, a lot of foreigners tell me that they have a lot of stick, a lot of flack from their families and their children when they tell them that they're gonna come and live here, which, you know, I can understand in some respects. Well, but on the other side of the coin, who wants to live out their final years, sat in front of the TV, lonely and sad, no immediate family around them, barely nobody to talk to, nobody to interact with, only the TV, the radio, or when they go out shopping sometimes. That's not living. You know, that's existing. And that's a big difference between living and enjoying life and just existing. So why not come out to the Philippines and start a new life? But this time you're older, you're wiser, you're clever, you're more confident, and you're more settled in your ways. So I think personally it's a great decision. The only thing I don't like to see, and that's why I always feel strongly about girls scamming foreigners, is that if a foreigner makes a decision to come and live here and then gets scammed and has to go back to his own country with his tails between his legs, and the first thing his immediate family will tell him is, I told you so. They love to use that word, and I told you so, and I hate to say that. I want a foreigner to be successful here. I want him to be comfortable here. I want him to be happy here. And that's why I approach this topic today, because it's a big move for a foreigner to up sticks, sell everything, all his treasured mementos, in order to come here to live. It's a big step. It's a brave step, actually. And I commend you for that. Try not to worry about what your family will say. After a few years of knowing your Filipina there, they will accept her and they will welcome her as part of the family. That's normal case, of course. You're never gonna stop getting the snaring at glances from other people that you pass when you're holding your Filipina's hand. Of course, that's not gonna change. But if you live here in the Philippines, you will never experience any of that. People won't stare at you, glare at you, and judge you. So, come on. Take the move, take the plunge. Be brave. And why not? Make the big step and come and try it. I don't think you'll regret it anyway. So, please leave your comments, as I like to read them and to get some feedback. And also, when I do live stream on Sunday morning at 9:30 a.m. Philippine time, maybe we can discuss that a little bit further. And I can tell me about your experience with your family when you left to come and live in the Philippines. Or if you've taken Filipina back to your own country. it would be lovely to discuss for all to know and all to gain experience that you experience. Anyway, enough of me rambling. Be happy, be healthy, and see you on Sunday. Take care all. And before I end up this video, I would like to say thank you so much, Jim, to this beautiful smile and glossy white teeth of mine. So thank you so much, and bye for now.